Hello everybody, I'm at my hometown, Durham Heights, draw a pine tree painting on my local street. You can see that the traffic is just beside me, sorry for the noise. I'm using this convenient ink cake with watercolor paper, and I'm going to draw maybe 2 of the 3 trees, maybe just 1. Let's see what we can do. I'm going to do this in a class, so this will be my preparation for the class. And you can see when I draw the pine trunk, I make frequent hesitation stops. Hesitation may, if it's not a good word, you may call it pauses, intentional pauses. So to create the bumps and the rough surface, and I draw this trunk from top down, right from the middle, and here is a hole at the turning point. So I'm going to make a turn there. And one thing you can learn from a real tree is that they could be very bulky at any part of the trunk, don't have to be even. And you see this actually, and there are some bars. In pine tree trunk, it's very characteristic. So we don't have to, we don't want to do the bark one by one, so you just do it like a impression of it. You don't want to make it too round or too square. Okay, I will do a little suggestion of the root, which is to set it. Okay, now I have to finish this top part. I start to make branches, jagged branches. That's characteristic of Southern Song Dynasty pine paintings, and we can see this is pretty real. So we make this turning point a little joint, kind of. Okay, I don't have room for the whole arm. I wish I had. And here we have a fork. So you want to make sure where's the main, the continuation of the main trunk, maybe from the side. So let's just say this is the side, this is the trunk, and I see a very interesting U-turn kind of. My teacher, when I learned from Han Shaoying, my master, he said the pine tree has a Tai Chi crown, which is always true. When I paint pines, it turns the opposite directions, always goes left first, then the right, that kind of thing. And you don't have to have all the zigzag, the jagged turns. You could have more smooth ones, some round. And this is very characteristic. Hanging branches all the way like that, goes all the way to the tree trunk, behind the tree trunk. So basically, I'm studying the gesture of this beautiful pine. And using the stroke I learned from the study of classical literary paintings. They think the pine has the character of a scholar, Confucius scholars or gentlemen. So one of the three friends of literary painters, besides bamboo and plum, called the three friends in the winter, symbolize endurance and uprightness, or the good virtues of a gentleman. I wish I have more room. I'll do a small sketch, maybe get the whole gesture. I already take a picture, so for now I just have to cut it short on the top. This is a kind of like a Scotch pine. I'm not sure. There are so many different species of pine and they tend to have different gesture if they are growing on the top of the mountain or by the street. But I always remember the pines wherever I have lived, and I will remember, where there's a beautiful pine on the street or near a store or places I always walk. So it's a very easy to remember tree, kind of. So in Chinese landscape painting, there are two kinds of trees, pines and the other trees. Maybe there's a willow tree which is separated from the other. That's so I just create some bark along the trunk. I'll explain in detail how do you do the trunk and the needles, etc. Maybe we don't have time to do needles even here. I just maybe draw some shape, and then we will fill in that. Maybe I will just use the very light ink draw the shape of so there are some more trunk here, some more and you should paint a lot of twigs before you do the needles, pine needles, right? And always put a clear stop and end on each stroke. It helps to create the feeling of calligraphy. Although it's fast, just suggestively create the shape of the pine needles. I will do more in detail style later in the studio. You can always start from a side brush stroke, and then you add details with the tip. You push the brush to make it split, create the texture. There are lots of holes in the pine. That's why the pine needles are so decorative. So it's not a whole shape. It has lots of holes in it, sky holes. A dry brush suggests loose, translucent needles there. I haven't done plein air painting for a long time, since March, I think. So this has been a very enjoyable reminder of the joy of painting real trees, even if it's just at my neighborhood on the street. Okay, let me just draw a suggestive ground. We don't have a rock, but we do have a cubit, something there. I will take that as a inspiration for a scholar rock. And there's a slope there. You can do a little, just a small, big. Okay, I'll see you in my Thursday class on how to paint pines in classical style. This is just a teaser, some inspiration for that. Okay. Thanks for watching.